Draw the level curves for k equals to -1, 0, and 1. What's the level curve? Level curve is you draw the curve f equals to some number k. And here it's asking us to draw it for -1, 0, and 1. So let's do it one by one. So for k equals to -1, we have x squared y equals to -1. And for this one, I can divide both sides by x squared and you get -1 over x squared. And you can make some table of values. If you plug in 0, it's undefined. If you plug in 1, you get -1. And then if you plug in 2, you get -1/4. And a little bit more inspection tells you that as you go further and further to the right, it will get closer and closer to 0. On the other hand, if you plug in something like 0.5, x squared will be 0.25, and 1 over 0.25 will be -4. So you see that the graph will go down rapidly, and as you go close to 0, and the graph will get closer to the x-axis as you go right. And the same thing will happen on the left side, because x squared just makes everything positive again. So whether you plug in +1 or -1, it doesn't matter. So the graph will be symmetric with respect to the y-axis. So that's the graph that you're going to see. On the other hand, if you have x squared y equals to 0, well, if two things multiply to 0, then it means that either x squared is equal to 0 or y equal to 0. But x squared equal to 0 means x equal to 0. And what are these? These are just the x equal to 0 gives you the y-axis, and y equal to 0 just gives you this the x-axis. So that's what you get at k equal to 0. And then finally, if you put k equals to 1, that gives you y equals to 1 over x squared. And that's basically this graph, except that instead of minus is plus, so it's going to be graphed this way. Okay, and what do you do with this? When you have different level curves, it doesn't tell you much if they are separate. The best way to draw the level curves is that you need to put them on a single graph, and you can draw them as, say, the first one is like this for k equals to -1. K equals to -1. And then let's choose another color. This and this for k equals to 0. And then this and this for k equals to 1. And seeing these level curves, you kind of get the idea that here in these two places it's underwater. If you think of k as the altitude, where k equal to 0 is the sea level, over here and there will be like underwater, and the blue lines will be exactly the sea level, and then as you go up, as you go this way and that way, your altitude increases. So you can kind of picture this graph z equals to x squared y by looking at this level curves. That's the purpose of level curves.